the latest from A&E 9/11. That makes it evident that the individuals who need to guard the utilization of nanothermite in the pulverization of the Twin Towers need to clarify what else was accustomed to realize that impact. While it is positively obvious that something different could have been added to make it hazardous, A&E 9/11 has been hesitant to state what that something unique could have been. The same, obviously, could be said of toothpaste, which is additionally non-dangerous however could be made unstable by adding a touchy to it. After so long, it isn't irrational to expect that A&E 9/11 ought to have a response to that inquiry. In any case, that does not appear to be the situation. Here is a report about the condition of its exploration on September 11, which has as of late showed up. While the article presents verification that the official story of 9/11 can't be maintained, it doesn't propel anything that has not been broadly known with the 9/11 Examine group previously. On the off chance that you contrast these suggestions and my own 20 reasons the official record of 9/11 isn't right, for instance, you can see that the most recent from A&E 9/11 does not fundamentally propel our insight and comprehension past what was accessible at that point, where 20 reasons was initially distributed on September 11 of 2011. Clearly we ought to have the capacity to expect more from an association that has such a prominent and has a tendency to expend the consideration of people in general and media. Judy Wood and Dews. Without a doubt, some may be enticed to contend that the prior article made more progress than the most recent from A&E 9/11. Be that as it may, Judy Wood and Dews have not been doing any better. Consider, for instance, that a survey of her book, Where Did the Towers Go? 2010, which I initially distributed on May 20, 2012, was therefore minimized from 5-star to 3-star based on look into displayed amid the Vancouver hearings, which were held in June 2012. It has been liable to assault around 7,500 times now. Be that as it may, reviling proof of the utilization of nukes does not clarify it away, where Judy has shown the informal state of mind of overlooking it. The point is that the specificity of the contentions exhibited in this new book make it conceivable to make progresses by referring to particular recommendations that are laid out in detail with the confirmation supporting them, which empowers the individuals who differ to clarify what we have wrong and how they know. Else, we are left in the jumble of dealing with contorted renditions of those contentions, which don't understand the proof and leaving issues hanging. That was shown consummately amid the 9/11 Truth teleconference on August 31, 2016, when Adam Ruff and Wayne Costa tested my clarification of how we realized this was an atomic occasion, which were pleasant representations of the point that I am making here. Objections raised amid the call. I watched that the transformation of material into fine tidy and the vaporization of 60 to 80,000 tons of steel are demonstrative of the utilization of nukes and also the annihilation of the structures to or even subterranean level. Wayne Costa answered that components that shouldn't be there does not consider that a portion of those components could have been available as a result of normally happening groupings of those components or from different sources. That sounded convincing in any case. As the book clarifies, they would not have been there in the amounts found and the relationships between them had this not been an atomic occasion. There would have been less probability of misconception utilizing the book as a premise. Adam Ruff thought that there would have been no motivation to utilize nukes on the grounds that everything that was done could have been finished with nanothermite and explosives. Ruff said that there was a Goliath heap of trash, however overlooked the point that there was no enormous pile of flotsam and jetsam in the tower's impressions. Correlations with Building 7 are enlightening here, in light of the fact that involvement with controlled pulverizations have demonstrated that they leave a pile of flotsam and jetsam equivalent to around 12% of their unique statures. At 47 stories, WTC-7 remaining only that depositing a pile of flotsam and jetsam 5.5 stories high. Indeed, while it is proper to depict the decimation of WTC-7 as a controlled obliteration, it isn't suitable to utilize a similar expression for the Twin Towers, which were pulverizations under control yet did not have the attributes of controlled annihilations. The explanation behind having utilized a novel procedure for their annihilation seems to have been to ensure the bath, which was a gigantic embankment inside which the towers were built to shield them from Hudson River water. Had the bath been broken, it would have overwhelmed underneath, bring down Manhattan, the most profitable land on the planet, including the metro and path prepare boroughs, which they needed at all cost to maintain a strategic distance from. The utilization of scaled-down or smaller-scale nukes, which have dialable radii and can be coordinated upward, implies that the demolition of the Twin Towers qualified as the utilization of coordinated energy weapons, which, as indicated by Judy Wood, are gadgets that give much more vitality than regular and can be coordinated. Set at 100 in the center sections, they would have had a width of 200 for structures that were 208 on a side. Their utilization empowered the annihilation of the two structures starting from the top with an end goal to recreate crumple. Be that as it may, they were being blown separated toward each path and change over into a great many cubic yards of fine clean. Also, this has all the earmarks of being the manner by which it was done, as the U.S. Geological Survey clean examinations substantiate. Other contentions could be made, obviously, including that the last tower of the North Tower appears to run counter to the utilization of nukes. Be that as it may, even at Hiroshima, the framework of a solitary church stayed after the gigantic impact had done its harm. What's more, these were small-scale or smaller-scale nukes, whose utilization has additionally been affirmed by the incapacitating restorative illnesses brought about by people on call and inhabitants of the region, which incorporate non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, leukemia, thyroid, pancreatic, cerebrum, esophageal, prostate and blood and plasma malignancies at rates far above ordinary, which Jeff Prager was among the first to bring up and where late gauges have put the number influenced at near 70,000. For the individuals who question describing A and E 9/11 and Judy Wood and Tooze as restricted joints, the contention is clear. We have three noteworthy issues to fathom around 9/11, the WHO, the how and the why. Both of those associations just address the how and decline to clarify the WHO or the why. That is essentially silly for 9/11 truth associations. Also, even their clarifications of how give off an impression of being deficient. Scholars for 9/11 truth tends to every one of the three. America nuked on September 11, compliments of the CIA, the neocons in the DoD and the Mossad, 2016, lays out the proof in detail. Be that as it may, we make no cases to infallibility in the best trial of the legitimacy of our case's basic endeavors to discredit it, which can be refined in the event that we make this book the objective for examination and feedback and in this way propel the reason for uncovering 9/11 truth. On the off chance that you have a remark, at that point submit it to me and I will be exceptionally happy to consider it for production here and somewhere else. When we have a minimum amount of dialogue and civil argument, I will alter another book to bring our insight and comprehension of 9/11 additionally avant-garde.